I'm Dr. Daviso, and welcome to my mini lesson on the Jigsaw Approach. I chose the Jigsaw Approach because this is a grouping strategy in which members of the class are organized into groups, small groups such as 3 or 4, maybe even 5, but we're going to focus on groups of 4 today as an example. Each of these groups are then rearranged into new groups so they become expert learners, and then they can come back and use teamwork and communication skills to further enhance your lesson. We'll go over it in detail in a moment, but I chose the Jigsaw Approach because when we talk about skills in small group instruction, this is a fundamental skill for effective teaching for special education teachers. And it's a high leverage practice that should be included in the core curriculum for all programs. This comes out of the Office of Special Education Programs and the U.S. Department of Education. Further information can be found at the link below to the journal article that talks about this. You can also find this on my live binder. All right, let's get into the jigsaw. Let's say I have food safety hazards and I'm going to be teaching in a classroom that's focused on culinary arts. This would be at the high school level. You can also see my 16 students over there. Thanks to students last semester, these were actually students in my class. So what are we going to do? First, we have to divide these groups up into groups of 4. Remember, groups should be diverse in terms of ability, and you don't want to use the same groups over and over if you're going to use this approach multiple times per week with your students. Make sure you switch it up. So what we have to do is first assign groups of 4 and then figure out who in each group is going to be the representative for each of the areas we're going to study. When it comes to food safety hazards, there are 4 types: biological, chemical, physical, and allergenic. What we're going to do is we're going to place each student with their specific food hazard into a home group. So as you can see, Aaron has biologic, Lindsay has chemical, Grace has physical, Danielle has allergenic. And it goes on and on for each of the other 3 groups. Once these groups are established, we have what are called our home groups. So what's going to happen from here? You're going to have to explain to the students how the Jigsaw Approach works, making sure you let them know what your expectations are for group work. If you're going to use this approach regularly, it's a good idea to review the behavioral rules and your expectations for your students so they can live up to them. All right, so now what's going to happen? Our groups are going to split up. Then they're going to come back together. Each of the students from the home groups that are assigned biologic are going to get together. Each of the members of the class that are assigned chemical are going to come together in another group. Same with the physical characteristic, and same with the allergenic. Now we have what are called our expert groups. This is where your teaching takes place. Your job in the Jigsaw is to facilitate learning. When the students are in their expert groups, the teacher can show support to students by encouraging them to find ways to put the information they've learned into their own words. Make sure you are observing the students, making sure they're on task. Because what they're going to do then is become those experts and take this information back to their home group. The key here, this is going to help not only enhance their knowledge of food safety, it's also going to enhance their knowledge of communication skills, being able to talk together among groups, being able to take the role of an expert. This is a very, very valuable skill. Once they're done, those expert groups come back together. So how could this be adapted for individuals with learning difficulties? Well, you could also pair students up. You might be able to put 2 students together to work together and have maybe more of a peer tutoring approach so they could speak to the group together when they come back to talk about each of their specific areas of expertise. If you want to learn more about this Jigsaw Approach, you can go to the Teacher Vision website. It has some fantastic resources and talks about how this could be used not only in this particular approach, like a science approach, it could be used in English and language arts, mathematics, social studies, and so forth. and there's some extra tips for you there. Make sure you come back to my live binder and check out some more ways students have implemented the Jigsaw approach and get some additional information on how you could use this in your classroom. Remember, this is a high leverage practice. Working with students in small groups, this is a great way to increase student learning and communication skills. Good luck.